What's good? Welcome in. You're watching the San Francisco 49ers Report. I'm Chase Sr. No matter where you are, how you're tuned in, as always, we appreciate you for supporting the show. Coming up on today's show, really going to dive into all of the latest Niners news, rumors, trade buzz, draft buzz. We put together a bunch of questions that people asked us, and we're going to answer them that have to do with some of the big storylines throughout this offseason for San Francisco. And we do begin with this. Ari Gold, Entourage, great show, by the way. Love the avatar and profile picture. Do you think the 49ers will cut Javon Kinlaw? Now, heading into the offseason, I would have said it's a possibility, but when I went to the Super Bowl and I was on Super Bowl Radio Row, I was putting some feelers out there, and I was asking some people about Javon Kinlaw. More thoughts on that coming up, but first, make sure you subscribe. Here on the 49ers Report, we give you the latest Niners news, free agency, draft, and offseason buzz. Bang, bang, Niner gang, we appreciate you. And if you're coming across the show for the first time, this is why you should subscribe. We do mailbags where we involve our subscribers like this. When breaking news happens, we bring it to you very quickly, and we go deeper than anybody out there. Niners analysis, live shows, watch parties, NFL draft, and free agency coverage as well. Shows every single day. By the time a lot of you are watching this, I'm in Key West, but the content continues. So going back to Ari's question here about Javon Kinlaw, whether or not he could get cut. Certainly a fascinating talking point here throughout this offseason for the Niners because of what he hasn't done since being a first-round pick alongside Brandon Aiyuk in the 2020 draft. Heading into the offseason, like I said, would have said it was a possibility, but after what John Lynch said, I'm not sure it happens. He said, quote, "I'm excited about Javon. There's been so much talk about him, but going into an offseason healthy is a big deal for a player. He took 2 or 3 days and was right back out there working out because I think he is so excited." And it's certainly not ideal when a player who was a first-round pick in 24 games has the lack of production that Javon Kinlaw's had. 45 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 5 quarterback hits, 2 sacks. And at South Carolina, before he was drafted, there were some concerns about knee issues and knee injuries. And so far at the NFL level, there have been some knee injury issues rearing its ugly head once again. When I was at the Super Bowl, right? I was reaching out to some people, talking to some people. I was also talking with Matt Mayoko. He said, I'm not sure if the 49ers even traded Kinlaw to another team that he could pass a physical. Now, I've been tagged on a couple of tweets by D-Line Vid. Shout out to them. And they've released some videos of Javon Kinlaw working out. That's great. He looks great. I mean, his physical stature really is ridiculous. He is a physical menace when he's healthy. Hopefully he's able to stay healthy, but because of the cap hit, I do not believe that San Francisco will cut Javon Kinlaw. Will he finally do something big? That's our first poll question on today's show. Let us know down in the comment section. Y for yes, B for bust. Sound off. This one coming in from These Brandon Aiyuk trade rumors worry me. Bang, bang. They worry me as well. By the way, I think I get the reference there of the turtle humping the croc, which is an all-time YouTube video. If you haven't seen it, you have to. That's elite level thinking. First it's Ari Gold, then it's the turtle and the croc. Phenomenal. Yes, they worry me too. Only if the 49ers even entertain the thought of trading away Brandon Aiyuk. I think he's the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL. I think that he runs some of the cleanest routes among all wide receivers in the NFL. His footwork is absolutely phenomenal. He's a goal line to goal line player. His production has been increasing every year that he's been in the league. And I think people sleep on him as a guy who's just a do-it-all, menace of a route runner, and a guy who's a technician and can just put on the afterburners as well in picking up yards after the catch. Now, you look at the production his first 3 years and his rise. In 2020, 60 grabs, 768 yards, 5 touchdowns. That was a COVID season, right, in which the offseason was limited because of the coronavirus, yet he still masters the offense to a certain degree and has that production as a rookie. Then in 2021, starts the year off in the doghouse, but then ended the season playing great football, 56 catches, 826 yards, and 5 touchdowns. And then in 2022, emerged as the Niners' go-to number 1 wide receiver, surpassed the 1,000 mark threshold for the first time, had a career high in yards, career high in touchdowns, and a career high in receptions. The thought with trading away Aiyuk is that maybe you get a first or second round pick, and then you use that pick in this year's draft to get a future right tackle, right? Because at some point, the Niners have to think about the fact that they cannot pay everybody. But that's coming up in a couple of years. He can still be under team control for the next 2 if you exercise that 5th-year option. And then if you do that, you're living in a Super Bowl window right now. Why not just keep Aiyuk if you have him under team control for the next 2 years as your number 1 wideout? So let's go, Brandon. Fill in the blank for me. Brandon Aiyuk is a top blank wide receiver. Where is he at? You let me know. Now, today's 49ers Report is presented by Fume. You can get 10% off the Journey Pack by using that link at the bottom of your screen. It's tryfume.com/chatsports. What is Fume? Well, I'll tell you. Are you tired of struggling with bad habits? Cold turkey might be great for sandwiches, but there's a better way to break free from those pesky habits. And it does not involve weird mind voodoo or other bizarre tactics. Introducing our sponsor, Fume, an innovative, award-nominated device that helps you kick bad habits to the curb by focusing on the good parts. Fume, all about embracing the natural. It's not electronic, and instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. Best of all, it's free of harmful chemicals and packed with delicious, all-natural flavors. The adjustable airflow dial and movable parts and magnets make it perfect for fidgeting, which can help alleviate stress and anxiety while you break your habit. I wasn't sure what to expect at first, but now I know, and the real ones know. Breaking a habit can be tough, but with Fume, it's easy, enjoyable, even fun. With over 100,000 customers and countless success stories, there's no reason you can't be next. So start your journey today and head to tryfume.com/chatsports. That's tryfum.com/chatsports. Promo code chatsports for 10% off. Maximo with the $20 donation. Thank you so much, brother, for your support of the San Francisco 49ers Report. Wet Noodle 187. Pretty good question here. Do you know if there are any XFL players that we can sign? Man, that's pretty interesting. Ben DiNucci as a backup quarterback maybe is one of them. Josh Gordon as a wide receiver. Abram Smith, a couple of names there. Nobody has really specifically popped out for me. Marquette King is a punter if Mitch Wishnowsky gets hurt at some point. But they're in the XFL for a reason. And I am interested to see, though, if there are any XFL success stories. Gamer Dude, do you think that we will trade up to round 2 to get Cody Mauch out of North Dakota State? Maybe. I like him as your future center. I'm just not sure what the Niners' plans are at center now because they signed Jake Brendel to that contract extension in NFL free agency. Cosmo, with losing some pieces on defense and adding other pieces, you think that we're going to have the number 1 defense? Bang, bang. The 49ers are locked and loaded once again to have a very, very good defense. And last year, they didn't really produce all that many sacks, right? You had Nick Bosa with 18.5 in the regular season. Outside of that, not a lot of sack production. By bringing in a guy like, bringing in a couple of guys along that defensive line, I think that the defensive line is a little bit better, it's a little bit deeper, and the sack production is going to come when you acquire a guy and a couple of guys along there. But I'm still looking for Yannick Ngakoue, right? Why can't the Niners bring in Yannick Ngakoue, who every year he's been in the league, he's had at least 8 sacks. So if you bring in a player like that, opposite of Nick Bosa, at that edge rusher spot, that also gives you some more sack production. But Javon Hargrave, 4-year, $84 million deal, man. 11 sacks last year. The year before that, he was awesome. That sack production coming from defensive tackle. So, again, he's a player on top of the other guys like a Cleveland Ferrell. You're able to stack depth along that defensive line. And I think this Niners defense, you lose a Jimmy Ward, you lose an Azeez Al-Shire, but you still return a lot of players. And you still have the Defensive Player of the Year, the reigning one in Nick Bosa. I do think that they're going to be good once again. And Steve Wilkes is a fantastic defensive coordinator. When I talked to Jake Glazer, Fox Sports Insider from the Super Bowl, he had said, look, a lot of people in league circles think that could be the coaching hire of this offseason. And we'll see. I think he's a great defensive mind. Bay Area season. Ceiling and floor for the record next year. If there's bad quarterback play and a lot of injuries, who's to say that they won't have a bad year after making it to back-to-back NFC championship games and playing so deep into each of those seasons, which does take a toll on the body. So, if they have a lot of injuries and bad quarterback play, the season can go down the toilet very, very quickly. What is the ceiling? Because that's the floor. The ceiling is the number one seed in the NFC. You win the NFC outright. I think that you're competing with Philadelphia, Dallas, Detroit for the top spots in the NFC, making it back to the Super Bowl and winning it. That's the ceiling. Timmy Free, how much do you think Purdy's injury affects his arm strength, especially considering that he already had a subpar arm, according to many before the injury? Great question there, Timmy Free. And according to many, look, we all know that with how he threw the football and how he was able to spin it. I thought that he threw with good touch and accuracy, but does he have a Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen level arm? No. But does Joe Burrow have a bazooka either? No. What I'm really concerned, maybe not as much of the arm strength, but when you have an elbow surgery and an elbow injury like that, does it affect your accuracy at all? And if his accuracy gets taken away, on top of some of the arm strength, to fit that ball into some tight windows, that's, of course, a big, big concern. That's why I'm not rushing him back. Gamer Dude, do you think Christian McCaffrey will have 14 touchdowns this year? Total touchdowns? I think so. I totally think that's possible. He was so good last year, and the Niners offense was so good after the trade. They averaged more than 30 points per game. It did not lose a game when he started outside of the NFC Championship game. Special player. He's been putting in that work this offseason. Appreciate him for coming on the 49ers Report back during that Super Bowl week. I expect him to have another big and monster splashy 2023 season. So are you doing good today? Let us know here on our mailbag. G for good, B for bad, O for okay. By the time you watch this, like I said, I'm probably in Key West. So I'm doing great. Let us know.